Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I was at a Braves game today, and I was actually up there yesterday too. I had I went to last night's game and I went to today's game, and right in the middle of me being there, all hell breaks loose with Elon Musk talking about Bitcoin, telling the truth about Bitcoin and the energy consumption problems with Bitcoin. So, by the way, I just wanted to show you this real quick. This is Ronald Acuna Jr. almost broke his ankle, and I was sitting right there in front of it. This was today. Luckily, it turned out okay for him. I don't think he broke it. I think the test came negative, so maybe he'll be back to playing before you know it. This is what started it all, Tesla and Bitcoin. This is from Elon Musk. It says Tesla has suspended vehicle purchases using Bitcoin. We are concerned about rapidly increasing use of fossil fuels for Bitcoin mining and transactions, especially coal, which has the worst emissions of any fuel. Cryptocurrency is a good idea on many levels, and we believe it has a promising future, but this cannot come at a great cost to the environment. Tesla will not be selling any Bitcoin, and we intend to use it for transactions as soon as mining transitions to a more sustainable energy. We're looking at other cryptocurrencies that use less than 1% of Bitcoin's energy per transaction. What have I been telling you on this channel for almost a year at least? Then he goes on, energy usage trend over the past few months is insane. And then Michael Saylor, of course, comes in and tries to give different rationalizations. And Elon Musk points him in the direction of an article where a private equity firm had basically revived an old coal plant, I believe, to mine Bitcoin. And all of them got all stirred up. Anthony Pompliano, all the Bitcoin maxis. And the problem, the one thing that they don't want to talk about is that all of these problems have already been solved with XRP. That was the whole point of one of the whole points of its creation, was to make improvements on the problems that were the things that were wrong with proof of work. And those improvements are XRP, and not just XRP, but other digital assets are major improvements on this too. Everybody weighed in with this when this news came out. He says, let's not overthink this. Few people have changed the world the way Elon Musk has. No doubt that Bitcoin is here to stay, but denying there's a problem isn't a path to solving it. Whether it's through renewables or architectural changes, let's keep moving on the solution. And see, he's right here, is that Pompliano and those guys, they try to act like there's no problem, that the problem's being fixed. Well, why even have a problem? If there's a digital asset that doesn't have the mining issues that hurt the environment and that are not good for the environment, then why are we even, what does anybody need Bitcoin for? The answer is they don't. All right. And then Craig DeWitt from Ripple weighed in. Energy efficiency matters. Now, that's a takeoff on someone who used to work for Ripple, Corey Johnson, and we'll get to him in a minute because he weighed in too. But look who else weighed in. Chris Larson, incredible move by Elon Musk. Hope Bitcoiners follow this lead. And he's retweeting this. This guy says, the funniest thing about this is that companies like Square spun up large marketing efforts to try and convince people this wasn't the case. And Musk just bust through the wall like the Kool-Aid man. Yes, there are large marketing efforts. I've told you 1,000 times. The one department that Bitcoin does have is a massive global marketing machine. And you better believe that they had board meetings today. We've got to figure out how to put out this fire. And some of the things that were said trying to put it out by Anthony Pompliano were utterly absurd and ridiculous. Some of the things, I don't even know where he came up with them. But then Elon Musk today came in and he said, to be clear, I strongly believe in crypto, but it can't drive a massive increase in fossil fuel use, especially coal. And so I replied to that And I said the answer to all this was created as an improvement to Bitcoin long ago. XRP is coming. There's no stopping Bitcoin 4.0. Okay? This is the truth. This chart right here is the truth, and they all know it. Well, here's Anthony Pompliano when he was on CNBC talking about this. This is cringe. This is like major cringeworthy if you haven't seen it. Warning.
Hey, Pomp, it's Sorkin here. I don't dispute the idea that in the future we could get more renewable energy used to produce and mine and transact on Bitcoin. There's no question that is possible, but it's still at least several years out, if not longer. I think if you look at the Cambridge study, and you can Google it, it's the most comprehensive study that's been done on this topic. While there are lots of people who are using some form of renewable energy, a lot of it, if not a majority of it, is not. And so the question is, if you're an ESG investor, if you're a BlackRock, if you're one of the big institutions that's talking about ESG constantly, I think there's been a sense that they might jump in to these waters almost immediately. And the question is whether you think they hold off even temporarily as a function of if Elon Musk doesn't want to touch it in this case, and I recognize he still owns it, but is not advocating for it in the same way, it becomes a lot harder for Larry Fink to.
Didn't I tell you months ago that this is what was going to happen? Didn't remember Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank? Didn't he tell you? He said there are boards at these companies, and they will have to go through these boards, and these boards are not going to approve for these companies to buy Bitcoin if it's got an environmental problem. He said that. He's been talking about it. I've been talking about it.
Yeah, well, Larry Fink better drop dollars then, because the dollar is way worse for the environment than right.
Right. So the overall theme that Anthony Pompliano is trying to get across is that there's lots of energy use by the creation of physical money, fiat money, and so Bitcoin's not so bad after all when you compare it to that. Well, my question is, well, the real elephant in the room then is why use Bitcoin or fiat? When you've got XRP over here, you got some of these digital assets that don't have any of the energy problems. What he's saying is let's replace the fiat currency, which has an energy problem, with another one that has an energy problem, even though we have technology that is 4.0 compared to Bitcoin's 1.0 that doesn't have the problem. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
I think most people would say that would be a ridiculous argument to make. So what I think ends up happening is, again, the Cambridge study, I've seen it, I've read it. I'm sure they're fine people, but also there's all sorts of data that's been put out over there where literally the lower bound of their estimation, the upper bound of their estimation is 11 or 12 times higher than the lower bound. And so they just are basically like, well, maybe it's a little bit or maybe it's a lot. It's not very clear. And so when I think you start to look at things like what's actually happening with the miners themselves, two of the largest provinces in China, the folks over at Coinmetrics have done great research on this. They're almost 100% hydro, right? And so what you see, again, is on the ground reality is that two of the largest provinces are almost 100% hydro. We're also seeing a big shift into the United States and Canada where there's a much greener grid. And so if you look at folks like Great American Mining and the team there, what they're doing, they're essentially going to be one of the worst things that happens to the environment in gas flaring. They're capturing that gas.
In other words, we're all hard work on the problem. Well, XRP doesn't have the problem. And it's got the same scarcity that Bitcoin has. They try to act like Bitcoin's the only digital asset that has any scarcity. Whatever. There are certain digital assets that have scarcity. XRP has it just like Bitcoin does. It's the same thing. The difference is that Bitcoin is the technology is like Netscape, whereas XRP is 4.0 to Bitcoin's 1.0, and they know this. And you'll see that's why he cannot address this. Watch what now listen, any of you who do not follow this lady actually is the best. This is the best person in traditional finance, the best journalist in traditional finance that actually tells the truth about what's going on with digital assets. Nobody has ever called this guy out the way she calls him out right here. Every time he goes on CNBC, he goes on there and he talks about Bitcoin. He's never really challenged. He's never really been challenged on it at all until today that I've seen. Not by the not by their anchors. But watch Julia Chatterley, and he cannot and will not answer the question that she asks him. She even reminds him that he didn't answer it.
I was looking for it. Cambridge University did a big study, and I've read it. I guess some of the criticism that will instantly come is 65%, I believe, around of Bitcoin is mined in China. And whether they're using renewable or not, it's tough to verify. Do you accept that that is a challenge here in terms of verification of the data? But also, even if we're just talking about digital assets in general, there are cleaner energy versions, Ether, for example, XRP, not mined. Is that a fact that we can stick to at this moment?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the big things here, right, is to remember that money is energy.
Whatever you do, don't address the XRP thing. He knows. He knows everything that you and me know. Everything that we know about the advantages XRP and all these other digital assets have over Bitcoin. He knows. That's why they can't say it. That's why they will not talk about it. That's why they don't want it to show in the lists on CNBC. They'd rather show you Litecoin and Dogcoin before they'll show you XRP, because it's the greatest digital asset ever created, and they know it.
Energy, and so you need some conversion of energy to have money be valuable.
But you didn't answer my question. There is cleaner digital assets than Bitcoin. We're clear on that, and I think that's important for people to understand whether you love Bitcoin or not, or you like.
Man, he looks like he is about to throw up.
The digital assets or not.
Yeah, he won't say a word about it because he can't. Look, it's a terrible spot to be in. You know, have you ever been in one of those spots in your life where you knew you were trying to defend something that was indefensible, or maybe it was just defending a family member just because they're your family or something? I don't know, but what a terrible place to be. Then Mark Cuban, who, remember, and don't forget, Mark Cuban is a shark. He's on a show called Shark Tank. And what sharks do in investing is sharks say, look over here while they invest over here. And then that's how they make their money. Okay. Well, Mark Cuban weighed in. He said the Mavs are going to continue to accept Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogcoin. He's just latching on to a moneymaker for the time being. And this guy is one of those guys. You got to watch what this hand's doing while he's running his mouth over here. More spin to justify forcing proof of work down the consumer's throat. He knows Bitcoin is like Netscape of his day, 1.0. When he knows 3 and 4.0 are already here. He knows it. Oh, you better believe he knows it. Okay, this was one of the craziest things that came out of today. Mark Carney, welcome Elon Musk's decision. As with the transportation, we need a new payment system that is resilient, high performance, and carbon free. Hashtag climate action. The one thing they won't say is what they knows there. Mark Carney, if anybody knows, Mark Carney knows all about XRP. Okay, Michelle Vandenberg sent me this tweet. This is Corey Johnson, who used to be the spokesperson for Ripple. He weighed in on this. He said, and if Elon truly cared, he'd look at XRP as the standard. And then he retweets one of his old tweets from back in 2018. And he says, I'll say it again, this matters. And he puts up the same chart that we've been talking about. XRP Bart sent me this one. All this was happening the day I happened to go to a Braves game. PolySign tweets out, exciting news at the first close of our Series B fundraising. PolySign is forming a strategic partnership with Cowen Inc. following their leading $25 million investment. Cowen is an investment bank. Let me see what they call themselves. Cowen is a diversified financial services firm headquartered in New York. Well, anytime you see one of these names you just don't recognize out of nowhere, a lot of times there's something you just don't see at the surface. So what I did is I typed in Cowen top shareholders, and there you go. BlackRock is the top shareholder, followed by Fidelity and then Vanguard. And I'll bet if you looked up who Arbiter Partners is, which is that last one right there, I bet if you looked them up, you'd probably find out that they're owned by somebody with a name you know too. I'm just getting back, and so I'm going to have to go and look up some of this stuff when I have some time. Rob XRP said that today, this was today, at 2 p.m. Eastern time, the SEC had a scheduled meeting to discuss resolution of litigation claims. It is Gensler's first official meeting since becoming chairman of the SEC. Agenda on the following tweet. So, we shall see. Now, I love this tweet from JC Collins today. XRP market dominance was the highest ever on January 6, 2018 at 15.52%. Price was $3.69 USD. Today, it is 2.77%. Factoring in SEC lawsuit, price suppression, along with adoption since 2018, it's easy to see XRP as a rocket being fueled, a green rocket. Legal clarity equals launch. You're darn right. I wanted to bring something to everybody's attention. The Unstoppable Domains people today announced that Unstoppable Domains and Brave integrated to enable 30 million more users to natively browse .crypto websites. What that means is if you have bought a .crypto domain name, you can also build a website with it. Okay, watch this. So anyway, that is in the, you can now view those websites in the Brave browser. So I think that apparently opened them up to like 30 million users. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that the Bitcoin narrative just got one huge 50 caliber shell shot right through it. I have never seen Bitcoin or any of the Bitcoin maxis forced into a situation where they had the truth right there confronting them and could not say anything. They could not say anything about they could not acknowledge the digital assets that already don't have those problems. It's a really uncomfortable place to see them. But look, the truth is what it is, and it's always eventually going to come out. I mean, as an adult, you figure this out. But these Bitcoin maxis, they're holding their holsters and standing with their guns there. I don't know what the deal is, but it doesn't end well if they're going to try to stay with that narrative, because it's just not true. Thanks for